All right, Dave. Well, the Legion of Boom have made their name across the league. Everybody's very familiar with them and how they play the game, which is physical. We love it. We love that attitude, but there's kind of a fine line. We saw that last year with the penalties that were racked up by these guys, and you figured, all right, young guys are going to figure it out. We saw Brandon Browner in the Monday night game. He just got fined, I think, just under $8,000, somewhere $7,800 something, for his hit on Greg Jennings. And if you watch the replay, Seahawks fan or not, you watch it, cheap shot. Completely unnecessary, and it was not
necessary.
Not only was it a shot, it carried into the end zone where they started wrestling with each other. And you wonder, you also had a hands to the face penalty in that game. And
awful.
I know you're from the old school. I know you're from the have your head on a swivel, and this is what you do. But, you know, they talked about it last year. He was in the top. I don't know if he was number one, but he was in the tops as far as guys being penalized last year. And some of those were pretty crucial. They kind of hurt the team. It's going to be a detriment at some point, don't you think? I mean, I'm wondering where that fine line is and how Pete says, listen, we don't want you to change being physical and tough, but don't be dumb.
Well, I don't think he's done that. I mean, last year, one of the penalties that he got was on him. He wasn't even on the field. It was against the New York Giants. He got a holding penalty. Another one was he blocked a guy.
He is physical.
Yeah, he hit him so hard he wasn't even on the field. The other one was he hit a guy inbounds. The guy rolled so far out of bounds that they assumed it was a bogus call. So, but no, I mean, you don't want to be stupid about it. You don't want to go and hurt your team. That's the thing about it. So, and that the other night, you know, it was a little over the top. But I mean, some of those things sometimes can be, you know, helpful to establish to people this is who we are. Here's what I saw: Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson both, and I heard Warren say this on the radio. Brock Heward mentioned it to me, and I saw it too. They both looked scared. Jordy Nelson looked like he was looking for a place to lay down after he caught the ball. So that's the effect you have there. But you know, there's a trade-off, and I'm never for being a cheap shot. I think that's ridiculous. But you know, you go out there and play hard, and it's the game of football. So I guess my reaction is always to kind of tease a little bit about when people get all upset and their panties in a bunch over somebody getting hit on a football field. It's a football game, you know, this defenseless thing. You know, the second you step on the field, you're a big boy. You got to take care of yourself. So, but yeah, I mean, you certainly don't want to do stupid things out there. So yeah, that's.
It was one that I think my issue with it, and again, I love the physicality. I love the attitude. It wasn't even part of the play, really. The play was taking place elsewhere, and he just pretty much leveled him out of nowhere. And
because Jennings wasn't looking. It was like somebody caught a pass, and the guy had the ball and was running, and Jennings was just sort of, you know, and so he knocked him on his butt. You know, so I'm not gonna get too upset over that. I'm sorry, but if it gets you a penalty and gets your team, you know, it's stupid. It's on a third down. It gives them a first down. You don't want that. But I mean, I think, look, when you have physical corners and getting back to the normal way of they play defense, you're going to have to sort of take the good with the bad. It's a trade-off, right? And so there are going to be some penalties. There's no question. But he also led the league in return yardage, was second in interceptions. I think he was number 1 in passes broken up, or number 2. So yeah, he's effective, and that's a different way to play. And so, you know, I think that is what you establish. That is a very hard-hitting secondary. They're all great tacklers. So it's a trade-off, though. And I know Pete doesn't want those dumb penalties.
Well, and even Brandon, we talked to him during the preseason, said, yeah, I need to cut down on that.
Yes.
He's obviously very aware of it.
Yeah.
I would just say if he went back, and I'd be curious how it went in the film room after that game. If you said maybe some of the players cheered, I would imagine maybe some of the coaches got into him a little bit, said, hey, you know, play the way you play, but don't be dumb about it. That was
certainly you don't want to be stupid. The other thing is you don't see is all the little things that receivers do to defensive backs.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure Jennings, you know, they cut and they do things after the play too. That happens all the time. It's just the guy that gets caught on film, you know, looks bad. But yeah, you just don't want those dumb penalties. And that was the thing that Pete talked about the other day. It really made sense. He said penalties hurt us much more than they hurt other people, because we're working on a thin margin here, man. We're running game, defense, you know, we don't have a big explosive offense just yet. So the turnovers and the penalties really count, and I know he hates those things.
So bottom line, do it only if you can get away with it.
That's right.